Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitancy in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about a survey that came out about 8 years ago about how much people are willing to not be fat and are willing to give up a year of their life, have their arm amputated if they could be skinny. What is that really a reflection of? Now, before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. You can see my rating's pretty high. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes. My 2 books, which you can find on Amazon. If you like movies, I have a movie podcast called The Cinema Rag, which you can find on Spotify or Apple. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. All right, so there was a study I remember seeing some time ago, and I wanted to find it again. So let me just read it. This is from Yale University, because Yale has the Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity. So I'm going to read some of this, and then we can analyze it. Nearly half the people responding to an online survey about obesity said they would give up a year of their life rather than be fat. There were 4,000 respondents in varying numbers. Between 15% and 30% also said they would rather walk away from their marriage, so give up the possibility of having children, be depressed, or become an alcoholic rather than be obese. 15 to 30%. 5% or 4% respectively said they would rather lose a limb or be blind than be overweight. Marlene Schwartz, their director of the Rudd Center at this time, said, quote, "We were surprised by the sheer number of people who reported they'd be willing to make major sacrifices to avoid being overweight. Of those who responded, 3% were underweight, 41% were normal weight, 21% were overweight, 21% were obese, and 14% were extremely obese." So at the 4,000, you could say probably a little more than 50% were overweight or more. So I think that in some way cues the kind of the answers that are given are like a lot of these drastic things would be done or be okay or be willing to be done to be regular weighted, because the majority of the people here were overweight, but not by a lot. 41% or 40% were regular weighted. They're saying, the researchers found that people of all weight categories exhibit a significant implicit anti-fat bias. Thinner people hold stronger implicit and explicit negative attitudes than heavier people. Obese and very obese people exhibited only an implicit anti-fat bias, not an explicit one. All right, so look, half of the people said they'd give up a year of their life than be fat. And then 15 to 30% said they'd rather walk away from their marriage, never have children, be depressed, like all these drastic things. So what is this really a reflection of? Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance here. Now, this article, I'm sure this Rudd Center over at Yale for Food Policy and Obesity will be very, very imbued in the body positive movement. Very imbued, pushing that. The reason why people feel this way is because there's such an anti-fat bias and people are being ridiculed and made to feel bad, so bad to the point like I'd be willing to do anything to be regular weighted. And I would say, like, I understand. I was fat at one point, obviously, and I can understand why so many people, regular weighted or overweight, would feel this way. And what does it really say that we're willing to be blind? Not everybody, again, those smaller percentages, willing to walk away from a marriage, willing to lose a limb. But I mean, what does that really say? Well, it says that I think we intuitively know that it's better to be regular weighted. So you have regular weighted people that many of them maybe were formerly overweight, but regular weighted people who don't want to be overweight and are a bit like, if I can make some Faustian pact with the devil, like Faust did in Goethe's old novel, that I'd be willing to do it. And then you have overweight people who are like, I would give up my soul, so to speak, going back to Faust, to be regular weighted. So, I mean, you see like the regular weighted people have this petrifying fear, and then the overweight people know what it's like, and they would do anything it takes to lose the weight. And I've talked about in a previous episode, after I lost my weight, like, is the petrifying fear of regaining the weight a good motivator? And really, it just depends on what motivates you. But I think on one level, it can be a dangerous motivator in that you could become someone with an eating disorder, right? You're so fearful, you just stop eating and you can have, become anorexic nervosa-esque. But on one level, I think it reminds us and harkens back to the truth that we need to be regular weighted in the first place. So whether these people are willing to give up all these things, it's almost a moot point. The better point is, let's not get to the point where we're overweight, because through most of human history, we were not overweight. The only people that were overweight were aristocracy, monarchies, because they were the only ones that had the calories to get overweight. But the majority of people, and we're not, 70, 80-year-olds, sometimes we're overweight, but the majority of people throughout all of human history had problems with getting enough calories. And it was only recently with the advent of the Franken foods, obesity's really gotten a major problem since the 70s, that you see this problem. So we don't need to be overweight. It's like, if you look at most of our history, we were not overweight. So what's really changed? Well, the availability of this cheap food, which is garbage. I would tell you it's even deeper than that. It's the breakdown of the family. I think, like I've talked about, a lot of the obesity issues really go down to childhood trauma, childhood issues, dysfunctional families, and you turn to food for nurturance. But either way, what can we do about these studies? Well, one of the things is, we know obesity shortens life expectancy. So it's kind of funny how 50% of the people said they'd rather give up a year of their life than be fat. Well, being fat shortens your life expectancy anywhere from 5 to 10 years. So we should look at these studies and not focus kind of on the victim mentality, because a lot of people will look at this and just think of the victim. Oh, this is horrible. Fat people are persecuted, da, da, da. I think that is the wrong approach, because it kind of lends to the body positive movement. Accept me for being fat. That's how you love me. No, how you love me is to encourage me to lose the weight, because if I really loved you, I wouldn't want you to lose 10 years of your life. But that message is not popular to say. What we really need to do is look at our children, make sure that we don't continue the intergenerational trauma. We make sure that our kids aren't overweight. I've told you before in that episode on intergenerational trauma, it drove me crazy when I used to go to Golden Corral and I see these very fat people and they're just going to the trough over and over, and all their kids are already overweight. And like these 10-year-olds, that's all they've known. Finish your plate, eat more. We model after our parents, and now they're going to have a shortened life expectancy of all the social issues that go with obesity, and no fault of their own, and that is not fair. So we have to think of the children, and ultimately, don't connect emotions to food. Be like the dog who just eats when he's hungry and walks away. It is possible to do it. We've done it through all of human history. It is possible, but it's going to take deep work to get to that childhood trauma. It's to get to that broken bridge, whatever you want, to fix the bridge, or to unlink and extricate the emotions that you associate with eating. So when you eat, it's just, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat until I'm no longer hungry. And for some people who have a history of being overweight, like that is unfathomable. Like you don't know how to deal with that. We just eat until we're so full we're going to vomit. But either way, post in the comments and let me know if you're shocked by these numbers, and you let me know what you think, how these results should be interpreted. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.